Welcome to Unity Inspired Living. Our community began in 1989 as a small worldwide Unity book study group, and we've continued the momentum as an ever-evolving spiritual community. Each Sunday, you will find dynamic thought leaders delivering inspiring messages and talented musicians sharing sound healing through their melody. Here, we embrace ancient spiritual traditions, universal truths, and emerging wisdom. Let's check out this Sunday message. We're so grateful you've joined us. So good morning, bright ones. I extend my love and blessing over to all of you today. Thank you for hopping in with us this morning. As I said when we opened, it is your divine appointment, and I welcome you in. My name is Amy Van Ling, and I am joyfully the spiritual director of this amazing heart-centered and life transformational community. I'm so excited to be here with you. It is a glorious appointment for us to be together here every Sunday morning, sharing powerful experience together. So thank you for participating. We are a unique model of a Sunday service. If you're new here, you'll discover a dynamic variety of thought leaders, world changers, difference makers in the world. I know our friend Temple Hayes uses that a lot, difference makers. And you will find all these amazing people here sharing a Sunday message, as well as remarkably electrifying, talented musicians who pour their musical talent, their musical skill, their musical gift and magical sound healing over us on Sunday mornings. And we're so grateful for this. And we have our people from our community show up as well to share our inspirational reading and bring us into abundance prayer. And we're thankful for all the connections that we have. And we invite you to take an inward breath when you come into this space. Enter this space, allow yourself to be present. Here and now. Release where you've been this morning, what's been going on, and where you think you'll be this afternoon, and just settle into this moment. It's a moment of a sacred yes that you have declared, and we love that you're here. Thank you for entering into this space in consciousness with us and feeling the presence of God, communing with this community, because it is this energetic exchange that is so powerful. And we're grateful to be together. And we have been focusing this month on Buddha. We have bridged to Buddha, and we're exploring the Buddhist tradition and teachings. And we might be noticing some commonalities by now between Buddhism and New Thought, things like the power of the individual's mind, and shaping our reality, focusing on mindfulness and meditation and spiritual realization. So this has been really exciting to bridge, right? And today we have our dear friend, incredible world changer, difference maker, Reverend TJ Woodward here with us. And it's always my joy and delight to welcome TJ back into our Unity community. He goes way back with us, and we're so grateful for the deep bond that we have with you, and for the exceptional human being that you are and the light that you shine in the world. We were just talking about that before we went live this morning. All the things that TJ has going on in his life, and how he shares his love with the world. So thank you, TJ, for being here with us. Today's message is in unity with Buddhism. And there is a workshop today, and we'll just dive deeper into this topic. And that will be held on our separate Zoom link where we're all into the Zoom room together. And that's from 11:30 to 12:30 Pacific time. So join us there. I'll drop the link here in the Facebook feed, and it's also on our website, unityinspiredliving.org. You'll see a picture of Kalyani, TJ, and then the link right into the workshop. So we'll see you there. We're excited to dive deeper today into our topic. So thank you, TJ. We're ecstatic that you're here. Tremendously grateful for your sacred yes with us here. And we have the one and the only, the magnificent soul that we just happen to call on this earth plane, KALYANI MARSH. And she's showering us with her grace and her beauty and her musical inspiration. So thank you, dear one, for saying yes and bathing us with the sound healing that you always bring to us so potently. We're grateful for all the setup you create to be here with us. Thank you. We have our exceptional Pat McCulley. She is a dear member to our community, and she is here with us, radiating her essence and bringing her tender, beautiful heart, and she is sharing the selected inspirational reading today, and she has some community announcements for us, and she will bring us into a prayer of plenitude as well. So thank you. All of you on the screen and all of you Zoom or Facebook live streaming into the screen. We're so grateful to be here communing together. TJ, Kalyani, Pat, and I welcome you into this space this morning with open hearts and open arms. So grateful for this connection. Just remember that you are not here by accident. You are here because your soul guided you. And that is true if you were here on the live stream or if you are coming across the replay randomly. I don't believe in any random appointments. They're all divine appointments later in the week, or somebody shared it and you're here. However you found your way here, welcome. You are supposed to be here and we are so glad that you're here. So good morning. Let me see who else is tuning in with us. Well, let me scroll back. We've got a lot of activity here. And Jennifer's here. She says, happy, beautiful Sunday, precious beings of love and light. Welcome, TJ, Kalyani. So delighted that you are joining us. Luinda's here. She says, good morning, everyone. So good to see you, TJ. Florence is here. Good morning. Good morning. Kathy is here. Good morning. Jan says, glorious morning to all. Welcome in. So wonderful to have TJ Woodward as speaker and workshop leader today. Our beautiful Kalyani Marsh with her glorious music, and our wonderful Pat McCulley here to share her inspirational reading. Thank you for being here. Yes, I affirm all of that. I heard the circle yesterday was wonderful, and I'm so glad when I get those reports. And thank you, Jan, for that beautiful email you sent me this morning. My heart is full and overflowing. So hello, beloveds. Welcome in. Welcome into this sacred space. It is a sacred space. It is a place where you can feel the love. And so I invite you in to enter with reverence, however you center yourself at home, and how maybe you light a candle, maybe you ring a bell. I'm inviting you in to allow yourselves now to tune into the inner wisdom, the inner knowing, and energize. Let's energize and feel into the depth of our mission statement. And you might notice it has recently had some transformation, and we're really excited about that. So tune in. Our mission here at Unity Inspire Living is fostering love and wisdom, inspiring transformation, offering compassionate outreach, and embracing unity. And we're just so blessed to do that together, to be on this mission together. So thank you. Thank you. We are going to first open with our community song. Remember, our community song is a time for you to sing, to get the throat chakra open and the chakra, the energy moving through your chakras, and sing aloud. No one can hear you. So enjoy. Thank you, Kalyani, for bringing us in.
Oh, thank you so much, Amy. And I wanted to select something very simple that you could sing, and it's really just repeated over and over again. And it felt relevant to have a kind of a nurturing song that, for anyone's going through any physical issues. And this is, I think, an old Rainbow song. I'm not sure, from Rainbow Gatherings, but I will be gentle with myself. I will love myself. I am a child of the universe, being born every moment. I will be gentle with myself. I will love myself. I am a child of the universe. I will be gentle with myself. I will love myself. I am a child of the universe, being born every moment. I will be gentle with myself. I will love myself. I am a child of the universe. I will be gentle with myself. I will love myself. I am a child of the universe, being born every moment, being born I will be gentle with myself. I will love myself. I am a child of the universe. I will be gentle with myself. I will love myself. I am a child of the universe, being born every moment, being born every moment. I will be gentle with myself. I will love myself. I am a child of the universe. I will be gentle with myself. I will love myself. I am a child of the universe, being born every moment, being born every moment. I will be gentle with myself. I will love myself. I am a child of the universe.
What a beautiful message and reminder. I will be gentle with myself. Sometimes we can be a little rough with ourselves, yes? Thank you so much, precious being. We're grateful. Okay, I'm going to hand the screen over to Pat now. She has our inspirational reading and our community announcements for us. Thank you so much, Pat.
Thank you so much. Oh, beautiful song. I will remember that one. We sang it enough that it's kind of cemented in my thoughts and brain. That's wonderful. Thank you. Okay, I will begin with a few announcements. Please stay for TJ's workshop after the service today. Join us as we engage in a discussion about in unity with Buddhism. I'm looking forward to that so much, TJ. Thanks to all who attended our community circle and potluck yesterday at Ginny's home. A good time was had by all. Coming up Saturday, May 18th, is our 10th annual yard sale. Clean out your closets and garages now and save your donations of clothing, small furniture, household items, etc. No books or large furniture. Please call Nancy if you're willing to volunteer on that day. We are sending out a huge, heartfelt thank you to all who are continuing to support the Van Ling Family Fund each month. Much love and gratitude to all. Also, if you have not done so already, we would like to invite you to consider setting up your monthly contribution commitment to our community. Perhaps sending it automatically, monthly via Zelle or PayPal or check. It is your contributions that provide the revenue for speakers and musicians, our spiritual director, our rental space, our storage unit, our celebrations, and all the other activities we offer each month. We are so very, very grateful to all for all you give and how you bless us with your time, talents, and treasures. Thank you all for keeping up your calendars and for your participation in our activities. Consider inviting a friend to join you. Blessings and have a wonderful week. And now for our inspirational reading. It is something that I wrote entitled, quote, "The Challenge to Become Buddha-like," unquote. In our world today, there is outer chaos, division, and uncertainty. The results we see come from the beliefs and actions of those with great fear. We can recognize a seed of fear within ourselves as well. The ancient wisdom and teachings of the Buddha are relevant today. They offer a roadmap for all beings, transcending barriers of race, religion, and culture. The Buddha gives us tools to rise above that outer chaos and live from our hearts, our souls, and inner peace. At Unity Inspired Living here, we've heard the Buddha's teachings over the past several Sundays. Did one especially resonate with you? Teachings regarding suffering, detachment, compassion, and mindfulness. Life challenges us to take one of these issues this week and contemplate, meditate, and further transform our being in this one area. The teachings of the Buddha challenge us in our daily lives to be compassionate, be courageous, and hold an unwavering commitment to truth. In doing so, we may further uncover our Buddha nature. We are powerful beings. We are God's action arms on the earth. Being Buddha-like can ripple out to raise the consciousness of the planet, thought by thought, feeling by feeling, action by action, person by person, country by country, world by world, and solar system by solar system. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat, for sharing your heart with us in that message. We are so grateful. We appreciate you. Okay, I'm going to hand the screen over to Kalyani now for our next song this morning. Thank you, dear.
All right. I'm having a hard time syncing up with the words and people speaking. I don't know if it's just my connection because I just got internet service the other day. Oh, okay. Anyway, if that's happening, just close your eyes. Just, don't try and match the two together. Okay. This is a song I like to sing for, I do caregiving and I sing with a woman every Saturday we sing. And this is part of a series of just really easy, sort of really meditation songs. So it's called Being of Service, and it was inspired by a lecture by Jetta Molly. I don't know if anyone knows her, but sometimes we forget when we're in service, we forget about the being part. And so it's to put an emphasis back on, I am in service to my being, right? So. I'm in service to my soul. I recognize my mind is learning to be quiet. I'm in service to my soul. I recognize my mind is learning to be quiet. And I don't need to know, just listening. I allow my soul to guide. And I don't need to know, just listening. I allow my soul to guide. I am your human being. What will you have me human being, what will you have me do? I am in service to my being. I'm in service to my soul. I recognize my mind is learning to be quiet. I'm in service to my soul. I recognize my mind is learning to be quiet. I agree to share my heart, agree to share my gifts, agree to share my presence. I agree to share my heart, agree to share my gifts, agree to share my presence. I am your human being. What will you have me do? I am your human being of service. I am your human being. What will you have me do? I am in service to my being. I'm in service to my soul. I recognize my mind is learning to be quiet. I am willing to make peace. I'm willing to make peace my contribution. I am willing to make peace. I'm willing to make peace my contribution. I am your human being. What will you have me do? I am your human being of service. I am your human being. What will you have me do? I am in service to this being. I'm in service to my soul. I recognize my mind is learning to be quiet. And I don't need to know, just listening. I allow my soul to guide. I allow my soul to guide. I allow my soul to guide.
What a beautiful message for us. I am your human being. What would you have me do?
That's when you like have to step back and go, wait, I'm ready to be informed.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
Thank
Right.
you.
Right. Because it's not going to come from here. Thank you, precious one. We appreciate you. Lots of love coming in for the reading, for the music. Thank you. Thank you. Pat, I'm going to hand the screen back over to you for our prosperity blessing this morning. Thank you so much.
And please excuse the delay that's going on. So Okay, let's take a couple of deep breaths together. That music was so moving. A couple of deep breaths together. I invite you now to join with me as we move into a space of oneness with spirit. We quiet our minds and open to the great realization of an abundant universe. We connect with an inner stillness that is grounded in the divine flow of giving and receiving. We practice gratitude for all that life gives us and accept there's more coming our way. We align and operate from our divine nature to give freely from a compassionate heart to ourselves and others, assured we are never void. We set our intention to engage in right action that attracts opportunities to prosper. We are each a very grateful spirit expanding in this human life. We are gratefully succeeding in stepping forward into greater good. And so it is.
And so it is. I affirm, we affirm. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for sharing the love on the feed as well. I just want to acknowledge you, acknowledge your energy that you pour into this service on Sunday. It's felt even through the technology. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to hand the screen back over to Kalyani for our final song this morning to bring us into our morning message. Thank you, dear. We appreciate you.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so happy to be in your presence, all of you. This is a song that is just all about peace and allowing the changes. It's called Pure in Heart. Let's see. Pure in heart, be the one. Purity comes when I'm willing. Many changes, letting go, I let the changes come. Quiet hearts, hear the one. Peace of the garden, never to forget. In the quiet, all is clear. I know I'm not alone. In the quiet, I am free. The one sings through me. I have come to learn to live, value this life with every breath. I surrender all my fear. I let the changes come. I choose harmony. I choose love. I let the changes come. changes come. I choose harmony. I am free. The one sings as me. I let the changes come. I let the changes come. I let the changes come.
Well, if that didn't bring it into your heart, I don't know what will. That was glorious. Thank you. I think Jennifer said, thank you for sharing your heart. And I said, yes, you do it so effortlessly, tenderly, and powerfully for us every time you're here. So thank you, beloved. We're grateful for the
Thank you
space
so
you
much.
provide.
It looks effortless, really? Wow.
Yes, it does.
Okay, finally, it's like the opening is happening where I can just
Isn't
sort
it
of
interesting to see the
open
lens
my
everyone
mouth.
else is viewing through? Yeah, as we're gentle and loving it. What was the first song? Tender with ourselves?
Yeah, maybe we be gentle with ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate this opportunity for me to choose the songs that are relevant for me in the moment,
Mm,
and
yeah, we're
then share
grateful.
them in the beautiful energy that you've created
Well,
in this
thank
Zoom land. It's really palpable, and I really look forward to hearing you, TJ, and what you're bringing.
yeah.
So thank
Thank
you,
you,
everyone.
beloved. We're so
Happy to be with
grateful.
you
Yeah.
again.
Thank you for letting spirit guide you and always bringing us the peace and the wisdom and the love through your music. And thank you, Pat. Thank you both for bringing your divinity and your radiance to us this morning. We love and appreciate you. And
Mm,
thank you from our hearts. We will see you
you're so
on this side of things and
welcome. All right.
see you next time.
Aloha.
Namaste. Thank
Namaste.
you.
Thank
Hello,
you.
everybody. Welcome in, precious people, precious soul beings. Do you like that? Human being. It's, I love that part of the song, the way she differentiated that. We are here. TJ Woodward is here with us, and I am so grateful for those of you getting to know TJ. Let me just read you a little bit about Reverend TJ Woodward for you. TJ Woodward is a best-selling author, inspirational speaker, and revolutionary recovery expert who has helped countless people through his simple yet powerful teachings. He was given the honor of being ordained as an Agape minister by Dr. Michael Beckwith and is also the founding minister of Agape Bay Area in Oakland, which was the first satellite community of the Agape International Spiritual Center in LA. TJ is a featured thought leader on wholehearted.org, along with Brene Brown, Marianne Williamson, Dr. Gabor Mate, Mark Lundholm, and he is also the creator of the Conscious Recovery Method, which is a groundbreaking and effective approach to viewing and treating addiction. TJ is the author of the best-selling books, Conscious Being, Awakening to Your True Nature, Conscious Recovery, A Fresh Perspective on Addiction, and Conscious Creation, 5 Steps to Embracing the Life of Your Dreams, as well as the co-author of their accompanying workbooks, which are amazing. You can find him on tjwoodward.com, and he's on all the socials. So find him, look for him. He has a lot going on. He also sends out a daily email, a daily word. So sign up, get connected. TJ is definitely doing great things in the world, and we're so honored and blessed that you are here, giving us your time and sacred yes this morning. So grateful for you. I am going to bring us into a moment of prayer to center us in and then hand the screen over to TJ for our morning message. I see all of you popping in your good mornings. Thank you for participating here with us this morning. I invite you in with a deep, deep inhale. Inhale into the sacred moment of unity and connection. Let us just breathe in the spirit that we can feel move through us as the light, like a powerful, magnificent force. And we honor the teachings today of the Buddha as a guiding light on our spiritual journey. and we recognize the divine essence within ourselves and all living beings, we affirm our inherent interconnectedness with this magnificent web of life, with our hearts overflowing with joy and gratitude and acceptance and peace. We give thanks for the blessings that flow freely from the infinite abundance of the universe. And through this precious soul, TJ Woodward, as we open our hearts this morning and our minds to the divine download, we give great thanks. Great thanks. And I declare that all is whole and holy, in harmony and abundance for all as we walk this earth plane. And I know this word is released into the great expanse of love, affirmation, and sacred yes. And so it is. Ashe, amen. Namaste. Thank you, TJ. It's all yours in unity with Buddhism.
Oh my goodness. Thank you, Amy. That was so powerful. And I was just really feeling the energy of that. And I want to start by saying has never been a moment that the message that the Buddha brought us over 2,500 years ago, there's never been a moment that this message is more important. Why? Because there is only this moment. And these teachings are as relevant today as they were over 2,500 years ago. The story of Siddhartha and his path to enlightenment. And as we explore this story or any story, we recognize that we can view it through a lot of different, as Amy said earlier, through a lot of different lenses, if you will. And so we all hear and interpret every story through our own lens of awareness. So I invite you at this moment to ask yourself, am I willing to be open and receptive and hear this story as if you're hearing it for the first time? Beginner's mind, being open and receptive and asking ourselves, not what is this story, but how does this story relate to my life and how is this my story? If we know there's only one of us here, we know that every story is an opportunity to look at it as a blueprint for our own awakening. So as we look at it through the mystical lens, meaning we're every character in the story, we realize that it can be an opportunity for a new awareness, a new awakening that actually only happens now. Because awakening is not a process, awakening is now. And awakened is the truth of who and what we are. And that really is the profound message that Buddha brought, as well as just about every other spiritual teacher who's ever lived. The message at the core of it is so the same. Love is all there is, and it's who we are. And that really is the profound message. So I want to share a little bit about my own journey with Buddhism, and also just say, I just want to also name this. These stories, these ancient stories, if you will, are told through the oral tradition. So maybe these stories happen this way, or maybe like the telephone game, if we've ever played the telephone game, the story starts here, and by the time it gets down 10 people, the story has slight embellishments, to say the least, right? So we're going to look at the essence of this story, not necessarily every detail of this story, because the essence of the story is so powerful. And the essence of the story of Buddha in my own personal life has been one that has allowed me, along with New Thought and a lot of other traditions, to understand, and I don't mean intellectually, but to have a real experience of my divine nature, which, by the way, is, if you're new to unity, it is the first principle of unity. There is one power and one presence active in the universe and in my life. God, the good omnipotent. And that, I love unity because every center has a slight variation of it, but that's the essence of it. There is one power, and that each of us is a spark of that divinity. And so my own personal journey, I think, for me, is an interesting one with Buddhism because, I grew up around Christianity. I didn't know what Buddhism was. I didn't have any relationship with it at all in my childhood or in my early years. And I had gone through a really profound experience that one might call addiction. And I got sober in 1986. We're just going to leave all of that for another time because some of you have heard that story. But let's just say the relevance of that as the starting point for the story is profoundly simple for me. I came into the world as a whole and perfect being, deeply aware of my connection with Source, not even my connection, my oneness with Source. I remember a sensation, a knowing, a vibration, an experience of knowing that truth. And then through a series of events called living on planet Earth, I was taught to forget that, or I did forget that. And so by the time I was in my teenage and early 20 years, I was 20s, in my early 20s, I was on an outward search to try to feel love again, an outward search to try to feel peace again. And in 1986, when I got sober, there was a beginning of an inner journey, a beginning of an inner journey. And I think it's important to say that because I was still on this outer journey of I need to find the perfect teaching, the perfect teacher, the perfect relationship, the perfect community so that I can feel whole again. It was as if I was walking around with my umbilical cord in my hand, trying to plug in to anyone or anything that would relieve this sensation of suffering, of a belief in my own brokenness, of seeing the world through this broken lens and seeing it everywhere and seeing all the suffering in the world. And in 1988 or 89, somewhere in that range, I walked into my first Unity community and I heard a profoundly different message that wasn't the idea that God is up there and out there, but it was something that lived within. It was an experience of our true nature that was this enlightened state, not a search outward. And it resonated with my soul so deeply that I can actually still remember the visceral experience of hearing the truth. Because I remember as a young person, as a child and as a teenager and as a young person, hearing what people were teaching about spirituality, about religion, and it really just wasn't connecting with me. Like there's some God up there and out there keeping score and judging me, and all of that stuff that was being taught all around me wasn't resonating with my soul. And the reason I say that is because life really is frequency. And when I walked into Unity, I felt that vibration. It was like coming home. And around that same time, through a wonderful spiritual teacher who I always honor as my first mentor, Mary Helen Brownell, introduced me to Eastern philosophy and Eastern thought through the experience of Amma, Swami Amritanandamaya, to be accurate, but most of us call her the hugging saint here in the West. And she is a guru who lives in southern India. And she would come, I lived in Dallas at the time, and she would come to Dallas. And I remember the first time I walked into the room, and I can still feel the experience of my true nature for the first time since I was about 5 years old, being in her presence. It wasn't anything she was saying, it was a vibration. And I became fascinated with Eastern thought. And of course, I went right into like, let me read every book I possibly can about Eastern thought so I can figure it out, because this is really an amazing experience. And that led me to a trip to India to go spend some time at her ashram in 1992 or three, maybe two, maybe three, somewhere in that range. And on this journey to India, because I had decided, of course, that the key to enlightenment was to go to India. Once I go to India, then I'll be enlightened, right? That must be the path. And so I was on this spiritual journey and I had sold everything I owned. I'd given up my apartment. I was in my early 20s and I was like, I'm ready. I've got the backpack. I'm going to India for my spiritual experience. And I went with Mary Helen and 4 other close friends. And we stopped in Thailand on the way to India for 48 hours. And I remember the first experience I had of being in Thailand and going to the Buddhist temples and being in the energy of the Buddhist teachers and the people in general in Thailand, and the peace that was in their eyes that was so profound that I hadn't ever seen before or felt before, not in that way, as a group of people, more than just Mary Helen, who was this enlightened being that I could see that and sense that, or Amma, who I had sat with many times and done chanting and meditation with. But there was a whole group of people that had discovered a path to peace. And then I went on to India and had my experiences that I'll save for another time. Let's just say it wasn't the enlightenment that I thought I was signing up for. I thought it was going to be bliss and love and joy and light and feeling my true nature. And instead, it was meeting all of my suffering in a very profound way and understanding how my own fear and my own rigidity and my own thoughts were keeping me from an experience of my true nature. And the reason I start with all of that is the story that I experienced can be parallel to all of our stories, including the story of Buddha. And I know that you've had other speakers this month. So to recap the story of Buddha, Buddha was born Siddhartha over 2,500 years ago as a prince in northern India, obviously into a Hindu tradition, which, by the way, is a whole other layered conversation if we want to do in unity with Hinduism, because it's actually a bunch of different traditions that we put into one group and call it Hinduism, but it's actually not quite that at all. But the story of Siddhartha is a powerful one because the king, his father, wanted to protect him from seeing the suffering of the world. And again, this is how the story goes, whether it happened this way or not. It's a great representation or an opportunity for us to use this story as a blueprint for awakening that can happen within. So he was kept in the palace walls and didn't understand or see suffering, including taking a wife and starting a family inside these palace walls. And then at one point he went out and he saw illness and he saw suffering and he saw poverty. And he felt like his heart was breaking and felt a call from deep within himself to say, there has to be a path to end this suffering. There is suffering everywhere that he didn't know existed in that palace wall. But to experience that suffering took him on a journey of how do I end my own suffering and therefore share a message with the world as a pathway to end suffering. And he went and studied with some Hindu priests, monks, teachers, and spent much time learning how to meditate. And this is important because he was fasting and he was meditating and he was doing the practices of the time, and he realized that it took him only so far. And then there was a moment that he realized that he must dedicate himself to being in the stillness until he had the awakening experience. So as the story goes, he chose to sit under what we call the Bodhi tree. The Bodhi tree, and I'm not leaving here until I attain enlightenment. And as the story goes, because Hindu stories are filled with all sorts of different gods, right? The god brought all these temptations, and he was able to understand for the first time the fundamental teaching that now we call Buddhism, and that is that the path to enlightenment is an inner journey. It's not an outer journey. And he also discovered that it wasn't necessarily, and you're hearing this interpreted through my lens, some might say it differently, but he discovered the middle way, which is that it's not necessarily about like fasting yourself. He realized his body was really weak at that point and chose to eat, which of course was seen by these teachers as something horrific. You're not following the path to enlightenment. And he said, no, my body needs the strength to do this. So he discovered the middle way, meaning, and this is really relevant if we look at this metaphysically or mystically, look at what's happening in our world today. The middle way is not being in the extreme thought of this or that, good or bad, right or wrong, or even politically left or right. That there is this middle way that is beyond that. And what he discovered through his own enlightenment has become what he calls the Four Noble Truths. And the Four Noble Truths in some ways is profoundly simple, and that is life is suffering as the first one. But I think the fundamental teaching that perhaps is the most profound is that there is a difference between pain and suffering. That there's a pathway to end suffering, and that pathway is an inward journey of moving beyond clinging and aversion. To put it in 21st century language, I want more of that because it feels good, and I want less of that because it doesn't feel good. So to put it in that simple language, clinging and aversion is like, oh, let me feel good as much as possible. We could call that addiction, or we could call that, living in America in the 21st century, right? The next teacher, the next show, the next thing, the next degree that I get, the next relationship. Or let me move away from that which is painful. And the distinction that the Buddha brought in his path to enlightenment was so simple, and that is the difference between pain and suffering. Pain is inevitable. Now, this is the teaching, which we'll kind of dissect in a moment, but the teaching is pain is inevitable and suffering is optional. In other words, we're born into this world, and at least at this stage of consciousness, there are things that will happen in the outer world that will be painful. We will have loss. I think Pema Chodron says, if you want a life filled with only comfort, you've come to the wrong planet. And that kind of is the foundation of Buddhist teaching, that it's not really about changing the world so that we can be free. It's being free so that we can be part of changing the world. And we attain this freedom, also known as enlightenment, by understanding the very nature of what it means to be human and what it means to be spiritual. And in my estimation, that they're actually one and the same, that we are these, as the song was so beautiful, and Amy pointed out, that we are being, start with the beingness. And that's the foundational principle of unity. There's one power and one presence. It is my life. It is the truth of who I am. And that Buddha said, through our clinging and aversion, we suffer. Events happen. People die. Accidents happen. We have loss. And it's the very nature of being human that these things happen. Now, there might be a point in our evolution that those things don't happen. But right now, as Byron Katie would say, we suffer when we don't love what is. And I want to move into it a little bit because this is very important in my own journey. When I heard that first, I thought what that meant is I should only look at the positive. But what to me it means today is through the experience and the embracing of the pain, I don't suffer. It's in the resistance of the pain that causes suffering. Suffering sounds something like this. That shouldn't have happened. Why does this keep happening? Why is he running for president again? How can this be? People shouldn't act that way. I thought I was over this by now. That's the language that is suffering. Pain is something really different. I embrace the pain. I recognize that when I am anchored in spirit, when I understand my true nature, I can be in the midst of pain and actually welcome it and not move into the experience of this shouldn't be happening. And if you're a human being like me and like pretty much everyone I've ever met, well, let me check in. 100% of the people I've ever met, we might vacillate between, I understand that life has pain and let me embrace it too. This shouldn't be happening. How dare this? And where those two meet, to me, is the path to freedom. It's not changing the world so that I can be free. It's understanding that enlightenment is a moment-to-moment awareness of our true nature. And as I understand that, I can welcome the pain in a new and unique way. In other words, the fundamental teaching is, I suffer when I resist what is. One of the profound teachings of Buddha is peace with impermanence, that life is impermanent, that we are here for a period of time. Some people believe that we're going to live 300, 400, 500 years at some point. I think that's quite possible. But for now, we realize there's a dedicated amount of time that we get to be on planet Earth. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end. And we don't know when that is. But when we understand our true nature, and I don't mean intellectually, but experientially moving back to who and what we truly are, and we are that way in the world, then we can welcome the unexpected events of life. And we don't resist the pain, we embrace it as an awakened being, understanding that by our very beingness, we change the situation in the world. I have heard New Thought teachers say, well, we're never really going to be enlightened, but we're always on a path to enlightenment. I would like to offer a very different possibility, and that is enlightenment is who and what we are, and that each of us is actually an enlightened being, but maybe we don't recognize that. That is a fundamentally different paradigm. As Buddha taught, there is a pathway to end suffering. He created the Eightfold Path, which we're not going to get into right now, but these practices that lead us to a deeper experience of the truth of who and what we are. And as the poet Rumi said, there is a field beyond the ideas of right and wrong. I will meet you there. And that field is a field of consciousness. Although fields filled with beautiful wildflowers are beautiful, it's nothing compared to the beauty of understanding the field of consciousness that exists within each of us, and to understand that the end of suffering is no longer clinging and averting, but being in that middle way. Another way to say it is to be in the state of curiosity and the state of luminosity. Be the light, be the love. Embrace this amazing world filled with this seeming division, because if we're someone who's saying, why is our country so divided? I want to invite you to say, why am I viewing the country as divided? And what is required of me to move beyond the thinking of division, the clinging and the suffering? This group is right, this group is wrong. That's the field of consciousness, out beyond the ideas of right and wrong, not out beyond right and wrong. Beyond the ideas of right and wrong, there is a field. And that field of consciousness is the foundational principle. Love, source, Buddha nature, our true nature, our very beingness. And as I anchor in that, and as I dedicate myself to radiating that into the world, suddenly the world changes. Then I can be of service, as we talked about earlier in the song, but not in service to what's broken, but in service to being this light and this love and beholding that truth within every person. And when I start to cling, I want more of that, I can recognize, here I am being in this cycle that we call samsara in Buddhism, right? The cycle of death and birth and rebirth and all the things that happen in the physical world. And we can say, no, I know who and what I am. I am this field of consciousness. Love is who I am. Joy is who I am. Peace is who I am. And it's mine right now. There isn't a process to attain enlightenment. Enlightenment is who and what we are. Peace and blessings, everyone. So incredibly grateful. Always grateful to be with this community. Thank you, Amy. Namaste, everyone.
Well, we are always so grateful for you and ready to dive in.
Yes.
I know we're having a workshop, so we won't take too much time with any Q&A and comments back and forth here. So join us for the workshop in half an hour. Well, a little less than half an hour now, 17 minutes. But for now, does anybody have any thoughts right off the top? Any questions for TJ? I so appreciate the way you share and how you can really simplify a big story and teachings down to very simplistic yet very powerful, and I think that's always the sign of a good teacher, a great teacher, is when they can do that. So thank you. We appreciate you. It really comes down to acceptance. Yeah. Because if we're not in acceptance, we're resisting in some way. And that is just really a recipe for suffering.
Yeah.
And we've all been there. It's not that we're saying like, we don't get it. We don't understand. It's like, yeah, we've been there. And there's always a choice. And I just so appreciate what you said about enlightenment is who and what we are. It's not necessarily this place we continue aiming to arrive at.
Right.
Right. Because if you think about so many teachings, and for some reason, Abraham Hicks is coming to my mind right now, but this whole idea of like always aiming for something in the future, well, then it will sort of always be in the future and not attainable. Right. So that very important piece that to really not just embrace, but embody, right?
Yeah.
Really know that truth, that inner knowing. So
And,
let me check in. Go
and
ahead.
I know you and I, Amy, have talked a lot about when something happens that is so shocking, like that
Mhm.
what you went through
Right.
recently, right? We're not saying it's not going to hurt or that we, maybe every idea we've ever had gets questioned, like maybe I don't know anything at all. Right, those are these powerful moments because we get to understand that as we embrace the experience and not move away from the pain, just let ourselves feel it.
Mhm.
We do, that is a path toward enlightenment. And right, none of us get off out of this experience of humanity, at least at this level of consciousness, without birth, death, rebirth, all of the
Mhm.
things that happen in this samsara of life. But it's making peace with that instead of resisting that is the key to enlightenment. And then, like you said,
Sure.
it becomes so profoundly simple. It's like, oh, this is being human. It doesn't
Yeah.
mean we pretend like it doesn't hurt. That's such an important key, I
Right.
think, that the difference between pain and suffering.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, pain and then pain, I I mean, in my experience, it's really the nervous system. It's really the physical body because our soul, our spirit, like knows what's going on. Our
Mm,
soul's fine. It's the shock. It's what our brain, our amygdala, and all of the
mm,
cognitive functioning that's going on, what happens, and then sort of calming that and nurturing that part of ourselves. And that's really important because, many of us anyway, have traumas throughout life that sort of get, as the book, The Body Keeps the Score, your body keeps the score of that. And so to really recognize that, okay, so this is a physical pain that's showing up. It's not necessarily my soul knowing, and tenderly handling, comforting, holding that painful space, um, is really a dance as a human,
yeah,
a very a gentle dance between, okay, I feel that. I know personally when and I'm so grateful for my foundation because I don't really know if I was to handle it another way, I might still be really suffering.
yeah,
But to nurture the pain that showed up initially, and that is shock. Like I said, that is shock. That is um, trauma,
yeah.
and to nurture ourselves through that kind of pain to move out of. And there were moments, of course, pictures, things, memories show up, and it's like, oh, I get to feel that, and then move through. So there, it's so layered, and I know that we're going to dive into this more deeply in our workshop. Let's just check here with the comments quickly. Christy says, thank you for sharing your depth of knowledge and experience. Michael J says, great storytelling, love it. Karen says, I knew he would say what I needed to hear. He always helps me. Indeed. Christy says, I did not realize how simple can be. So grateful for you, TJ. Good advice for me, says Luinda. Carol says, I can totally resonate with everything you shared. I look forward to joining the workshop. I can totally relate to addiction, clinging, aversion. I know that Buddha says that attachment is the cause of all suffering, and not only things, but the way life appears to be showing up. Yeah, the attachment, that's what when the resistance comes because we want the thing we want, right? And uh we're so interesting, so uniquely, divinely created.
Yeah, and there's an interesting, difference between wanting and
Mm,
clinging or
mm,
attachment, right? And
mm.
we'll talk about that more in the workshop because we're going to be going through the Four Noble Truths as you would tell it to a 4-year-old. I found that, and I think now that is cool because there we're going to
I love
say it
that.
like a 4-year-old could hear it. So that'll be at the workshop. But really, when we get down to the simplicity of it,
Mhm,
it's almost like our minds want a more complicated
mhm,
process
mhm.
instead of, oh, yeah, I suffer when I'm attached. I want this to happen and I need this to happen in order to be happy. I
Right.
need this person to talk to me in a different way. I need my mother to be more loving. All the things that we say to ourselves, that's
Right.
the suffering.
Mhm. Yeah, and when we can start loving, nurturing ourselves, then yeah, it's great to bring it to simplicity, because I think with Buddhism, sometimes it feels like, oh my gosh, we've got the Four Noble Truths and we have the Eightfold Path.
Eightfold
That's
Path.
so much, like, overwhelming. I tried to simplify the Eightfold Path in my own words, and so
Yeah.
I can't, because like you said, like it all can be broken down very simply. I think you said it at the middle way is not extreme thought, not going into that rigidity of one side or another.
Right.
You said something, maybe I didn't write it down, but it was about love, that it all comes down to that. The, what did you say? I like how you said it. No longer suffering is to be in the state of curiosity and luminosity.
Mm.
Maybe I didn't write it down. Oh, we suffer when we don't love what is.
Yeah. Thank you,
Right?
Byron. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's better,
Yeah.
Katie. Okay, there's a couple more comments and then we will close up and move into the workshop. So please join us there on the link. Did I copy it here yet? I will in a second, though. I can totally resonate. I think Carol. Jan says, well, TJ, I have a page of notes from your talk and just now smiled and thinking that Rumi's quote sums it up so perfectly. Marianne said, well said, TJ. Great. Carol has some comments. I know Carol will be in the workshop, so yay. We will dive even more deeply, which of course we love around here. We don't like this surface kind of stuff. We like to go deep, get to the root, and feel and heal, which is return to wholeness. So thank you everybody for being here. If you feel refreshed, restored, enlightened, had a great remembering today with our message here in this community, please consider visiting our giving page on our website, unityinspiredliving.org. We invite you to share in that energetic exchange with us, because it says, I support the mission of this community, of this center, of this organization, and I value the purpose here, and I say yes to co-creating for the good of humanity. So thank you for your generous contributions, because we are 100% supported by these, and your conscious giving enables us to thrive. So thank you. We are going to close with the prayer of divine awakening, which I'm now going to put on the screen for you. And I invite you to speak these words aloud and make this declaration for your life. Here we are, the prayer of divine awakening. It's a new day, a beautiful day, a new beginning. I embrace this day with new eyes, an open heart, and expansive mind. I choose my vibrational frequency deliberately and consciously, harmonizing with life's events. I am receptive to source energy, divine guidance and wisdom available to me at all times. I commit to serve unconditional love fully and completely. I move forward in a state of appreciation and extension of the one magnificent power and presence. I am sovereign, whole, and free, claiming dominion over my life as I go in peace and awaken to my divinity. And so it is. Namaste, beloved beings. Shine on, bright ones. We love you. We're grateful for you. Thank you for being here. Remember, we're on YouTube. You can share the video out of YouTube. And we are getting ready to walk into a Zoom room now for our workshop. Hydrate, nourish, and we'll see you back in about 15 minutes on the Zoom link. I'm dropping it here. Thank you, TJ. We love you. Bless you. Blessings, everybody.